The Tennessee Horse Trails and Campgrounds podcast is hosted by Josh Guin. In this podcast, he discusses the background and purpose of his project, which is to create a comprehensive horse trail directory for the state of Tennessee. He highlights the need for such a resource and the challenges he encounters while riding trails and staying at campgrounds. He shares his experiences and perspectives as he explores various locations and discovers historical treasures. In the podcast, he explains the features of his website, tnhorsetrails.com, including videos, a blog, and a map function. This podcast aims to provide valuable information and to promote local businesses. Thank you for tuning in to the Tennessee Horse Trails and Campgrounds podcast. Here's your host, Josh Guin.
Hey guys, welcome to the Tennessee Horse Trails and Campgrounds podcast. I am Josh Guin, your host, and I'm glad to have you on today. Today we're talking with Christine Mortenson at Circle E Guest Ranch near Belvidere, Tennessee. This is at the foothills of the Cumberland Mountains, and I've been there so many times throughout the years. My family and I have ridden out there so many times, and just had a great time. It's a wonderful place. It's one of the biggest campgrounds you're going to find in Tennessee, if not the biggest campground. Tons of amenities, lots of good trails, and I'm so happy to have my guest on the show today. Her name is Christine Mortenson. She's the manager of Circle E. Welcome, Christine. Glad to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here today.
Well, I wanted to start out by talking about just the history of our relationship. I have ridden out there, as I said, so many times. I remember years ago, it's been well over a decade ago, we started riding at Circle E and instantly just found home out there. And it's a place that we've returned to time and time again. You're a big part of that. You're the face of Circle E and such a great lady. We've enjoyed the friendship that we've developed over the years. Matter of fact, we had, I guess, somewhat of a semi-professional relationship there for a little while as well. And I gave a teaser of this last podcast and talked about the music video that you came out with years ago. I don't remember how many years ago that was. Do you remember?
We did it in 2015. It was Mustang Heart. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I was so much younger back then. Gillian and I were both in that video, and it's such a cool song from a horseman's perspective, and it's a love song, and it's just the comparison of the relationship with horses as well. But we were in that video. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can find if you YouTube, I believe, right? Mustang
Yes.
Heart official video, is that right?
Yes. Mustang Heart by Christine Mortenson. It'll come up. And it was such a pleasure. I remember whenever I met the film photographer and talked to her about it, and my first thought of who I wanted to be in it to act was you and Gillian. And I just fell in love with your family, your children, when you came up for a survival thing, and and y'all did such an excellent job. Such a beautiful couple of two people who kind of met and didn't quite, know. She didn't know she wanted to have anything to do with you, but then through the song, it just came out so wonderful. It was really great.
It really did. And let me tell you, that was a really pivotal moment for me and Gillian in our relationship, in our marriage. It was one of those times that, of course, by then we've been married for a long time, high school sweethearts, had kids already. And to go out and do that, it was kind of like dating again, because you get those emotions of when you first met, right?
Yeah.
And it was a really special time for us to be able to do that, and we so appreciated that opportunity. So you guys that are listening, check out Christine's video, Mustang Heart. It's on YouTube. You're gonna love that song. You'll just have to forgive my acting abilities. That was my first time ever doing that.
You did a great job. You and Gillian both did a great job. Yeah.
Thank you. It was a blast. I'll tell you that. So you guys check that out. Christine Mortenson, Mustang Heart. Christine, let's get into this information about Circle E Guest Ranch. Again, it's in Belvidere, Tennessee. This is southern Tennessee, so kind of still middle Tennessee, but in the south. And right there at the foothills of the Cumberland Mountains. And I tell you what, when you're driving into Circle E, you realize, hey, I'm going into the mountains, because when you go up that last road, you can tell that you're gaining some elevation on the way up there, right there. What is Rogat Road? I guess is the
Rogat
one
Road, it's
that
11% grade. Now you come off a highway 64 and then you go on. It's Highway 16 South, but it's also called Rogat Road. But as it
uh
goes from Alabama, it's Highway 79. So you can come up either way, but coming up from we're just about 8 miles south of Winchester. It's 11% grade, but about 2 miles of just going up the hill. So be prepared, check your oil, your water, make sure you got good tires. But we have the biggest
absolutely.
horse trailers in the world come up here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've brought my rig up there. I brought my big trailer up there. It's an 8-horse trailer. It's 38 feet, and we made it just fine. Make sure you got trailer brakes though. On your way back down, if you're coming back to Tennessee, you want to plug your brakes in. I had a buddy of mine that forgot to do that when we were camping there one time, and he got to the bottom. He was heating up pretty good on that truck. But it's
Yeah.
a safe road. It's a really wide road going in there. It's not one of these little backcountry things. It's a big road. So
Yeah.
you've got plenty of space. And I tell you what, when you come up that hill and you get to the top and you see the how high up you are and you could see down that valley, it's a beautiful place. I mean, and it's like that all over Circle E. You've got these amazing views throughout the place. So let's talk a little bit about the amenities at Circle E. You guys are kind of a one-stop shop. You offer a lot of stuff. Um, how many RV sites do you have that are equipped with electric and water? And I think you may have some with sewer too, right?
Yes, we have about 240. The owner sometimes says 250, but 240 electric and water campsites. And from like on the sawmill side, from 62 to 88, they're full hookup with sewer, electric, and water. We're located on both sides of Highway 16 or Rogat Road. So we have the office side, which, is roughly 150, 170, and then the rest are on the sawmill side. But we have shower houses on both sides. We have 370 stalls. We've got stalls on the office side and stalls on the sawmill side. So, yeah, it's
How many barns are those located in? How many barns do you have?
well, we have barn A, B, which is one long barn. Half of it is A, half of it's B. D and E, that's 4. C, 5, and then we have a couple of smaller barns. We call one. It's a 4-stall barn called the Zorro, and then we used to use a lean-to with 2 stalls in it, and we called it the Frog. but yeah, 370 stalls.
Okay.
So.
And guys, these barns are centrally located to the campground as well. And that's important to understand that wherever you're camping, you've got a barn out there somewhere close to you. So you're not going to have to go hike across the road to get to your horses. They're going to be right there close by. And the barns are in great shape. It's that heavy sawmill kind of wood. That's one of the things I appreciate with big spaces in the middle to walk through to stay out of the rain if it starts raining that weekend. So it's really good opportunities. Do you remember, Christine, how big those stalls are? I don't recall the dimensions.
Yes, in barn A and B, they're 8x10s. In D
Okay.
and E, they're 8x8s in barn A and B, and 8x10s in D and E, and in barn C, they're 10x12s. So, yeah,
Okay.
there's
Okay, good.
39
So
stalls in barn C. So it's a nice, size. I would prefer over there to have more room for my horse.
yeah. Yeah, and the other thing about this campground is that you have a variety of sun and shade. So depending on the time of the year that you're out there, you can choose those campsites according to that. We ride all winter as a family, So I'm always looking for something with zero shade in the winter. I want it to warm my camper up and just be out there where I can sit in the sun during the day. Of course, July comes and I'm looking for a tree somewhere. So you guys do have that opportunity to choose between those two. With the RV sites, is it 30? I know it's 30 amp, but do you have 50 amp as well?
We do. We have most of our campsites are 30. Uh, on the office side, we have it's like a grid line of rows A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. C and D,
Okay.
1 through 5, are 50 amp. And then on the sawmill side, 62 through 70, they're 50 amp. And then
Okay.
77 through 88 are 50 amp.
Okay.
Those are the ones with full hookup. Now, we do have dump stations on both sides of the highway. And then on the office side, you have to keep this in mind that the water spigots are at every other campsite. So you may need a water splitter to share water with your neighbor, but plenty of
Good
water.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we cover these things on our website usually. What should I bring? So that's another thing that if we haven't already gotten it on there, we're going to get that splitter on there just in case. Um, so you've got the RV sites, the stalls, the barns. Let's talk about that big lodge right there in the middle of the campground. It's my favorite place. And I've done clinics out there in the past. We've done survival rides. We used to do 3 to 5 day wilderness survival rides on horseback where we taught people how to manage that kind of situation if they got lost. And some of the classes that we did, we got to do them in the dining hall there. I'm not sure what the official name of that building is, but it is beautiful. It's a huge wooden lodge and it's a Cracker Barrel setting on the inside with all of the stuff hanging up, all the historical things from that area hanging on the walls. They have a huge meeting area there. So if you bring a large group, you have plenty of room to meet. There's a stage inside there with a sound system and lighting. And they do events through the years. Through the year, we'll be talking about that here in just a little while. But this is a really cool place. And what do you guys actually call that building?
We call it the dining hall or the mess hall
Okay.
lodge. It years ago they called it the Hitch and Post restaurant. That's still
Okay.
you can Google it and it's still there on the internet, but we don't call it the Hitch and Post anymore. It seats 250. There's booths and tables and big dance floor area and center tables and a hot bar, drink station, bathrooms, and at one end there's the shower houses we have for the campers. We have the men's is 6 showers and toilets and urinal, and then the women's 6 showers, and then and we rent it out for weddings, reunions, and we only open it during big events. It's we have buffet meals that we provide during big events.
Okay, so they have this as an option for you. So if you're bringing a group, you can meet in there, you can do things, you can have meals in there for special occasions. Of course, they also do a lot of events in there throughout the year. So they'll actually have dinner prepared at certain events and like for their charity rides or week-long rides, whatever it may be, they add that as part of your expense going into that special event. You can check those events out on their website. What's your website address, Christine?
It's circleeguestranch.com.
Okay, so y'all check that out.
Circleeguestranch.com.
Good.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to, oh, by the way, along with the dining hall, they also have an outdoor amphitheater with a stage for dancing. It's an amphitheater setting, so there's a hillside there and it has a covered stage. So you guys can do things there too. My kids just like to play on it in the off hours. They love playing out there. But let's talk a little bit about your cabins. We did cover the information about your RV sites, but let's go into the cabins. You have a lot to offer there, not only cabins, but what you guys call cabarns. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about those.
Okay. Well, we have 6 cabins on the sawmill side. We have cabin 1 through 6. Cabin 1 is a log cabin with a wraparound porch. It is sleeps 4. It's a queen bed, a full kitchen. We always provide all the bedding and the sheets and the towels and toilet paper, paper towels. There's dishes in them. And cabin 2 and 3 are log cabins on the bluff. They have a bluff view, and they have a master bedroom with a king or queen and a full-size bed upstairs, full kitchen. All of our cabins have TVs and bathrooms with showers. And then we have a little cabin number 4. It's like it's not a log cabin. It's a little white cabin. It's like an efficiency. And it's got a little kitchenette. All the sleeping is in one room. Sleeps 4 with a full bath, shower, sink, and toilet. And then we have two new little metal cabins, cabin 5 and 6. And 5 has a full kitchen. They're efficiencies too, but cabin 5 has a full kitchen, and cabin 6 just has coffee pot, microwave, and mini fridge. Then we have on the office side, built-in barn E on the end closest to the office is the Cabarns. We have 4 of those. Cabarn 1 is a 1-bedroom. It has a very large living area, dinette set, and they all have huge bathrooms with a big tub and sink and everything. The other 3, they have 2 bedrooms each, and they rent for $105 a night for 2 adults and $10 a night for each additional adult. But they don't have kitchens. They have a coffee pot, a microwave, and a mini fridge. But people really love them because you can walk right out the door and there's the stalls and their horse is right there, and you can keep a close eye on them. And people like them too because they're close to the dining hall. They can just walk right over to the dining hall, the vendor areas. So
Yeah, and one of the things that I liked about the Cabarns is that whenever you walk out your door, you're walking into the breezeway of the barn. So it's just right there, and your horses are right next to your door of where you're staying. So you talk about easy feeding and watering and things like that throughout the day. It makes it really nice. And we've taken large groups to this place over the years. A lot of our students from our ranch here. And that's always been a favorite. Everybody's fighting over the Cabarns. They want to have those rooms. They're really special. But we kind of like as a family to stay on the other side of the road in the cabins because you get that view. The cabins are set right alongside the hill, and it is a really pretty view. It's got the little back patio you can sit on, and it's just really a cool place to stay over the weekend. Christine, do you guys have any events scheduled? I think you've got one coming up next month, right?
yes, and every year we have a 3-day horse ride. It'll be April the 11th, 12th, and 13th. We provide 2 meals a day. It's a package price. It's per adult. It's $237 plus your $5 stall cleaning fee and tax. But it includes your campsite, your stall, breakfast, a buffet breakfast in the morning, and a buffet breakfast at night. And we have entertainment every evening. We'll have bingo, movie night. We'll have a DJ, maybe a band. And then your last meal is Sunday breakfast. But we'll have guides that will take you out on the trails. So you can let the guide know, are you riding gated or you're riding quarter horse, and they'll pick a good trail for you and take you. They can take you out all day long if you like. You do have to provide your own lunch, but a lot of them stay out most of the day anyway and ride and eat out on the trail. So it'll be a lot of
And
fun.
we've been to some of those events. We went to one, I think, year before last, and the guides were great. They knew everything, where to go, best places. And, that brings us into the next topic of the trails. So I want to cover some information on these trails. And across the horse industry, Circle's been around so long that everybody knows about it. And a lot of people have been there, some haven't. But we want to cover what's going on with the trails. I know that there, across the industry, a lot of people are talking about, well, what about the ATVs? What about the horses? How do you mesh those two together and still be safe and still have fun for everybody involved, not just the horse people, but the ATVs? It's a multi-use trail. But you guys have set up a scheduling system to separate those two out to make sure everybody's happy, right?
Yes, we have. We don't allow the horses and the ATVs to ride the trails at the same time. Currently, we used to have access to the sawmill side of the trails, which we would have horses on one side of the highway and ATVs on the other. But currently, we no longer have access to that except for some events. We're still in negotiations with that. But since we only
Yeah.
have the office side, we'll do a couple of weeks horseback riding only. We don't allow any ATVs. And then it'll switch like on a Monday, and then we'll do 2 weeks ATV side by side riding. And
Mm.
so we get uh, people from all over. A lot of locals love to come up here and ride, but we don't allow them to mesh. I mean, there's some hardcore horse riders who say my horse is fine riding ATV. Well, you sign a waiver at the office, so you release us of any liability. We
Right.
will allow it, but we don't encourage it. You know,
Yeah.
and it's worked out very well. We haven't had any issues over the years. The and we when we have bad weather and have an ATV event, they get out there with the bulldozers and the road graders, and they straighten it up as quickly and as best as they can. And but I have got nothing but compliments on our trails and the beauty up here. So
It,
it's
it is
good.
beautiful up there, and I've ridden just about. I probably haven't ridden all of them. That's a lot of trails out there, but I've ridden a lot of them, and on both sides. So when you had the sawmill side, I rode that a lot. Of course, my favorite place on the sawmill side, you know what it is.
Pretty
Pretty place.
place.
That's pretty place, right?
Yeah.
And thankfully you guys are still working on some deals with that and trying to get that sawmill side back. But aside from that, you have really good trails on the office side too. As a matter of fact, you got about 60 miles of riding on the office side. So what is your like if somebody came to your place, came to Circle E and they said, where do I have to go to see the best view? What part of that trail do they need to go see?
Well, I always encourage them to go to the waterfall we have in the
Uh-huh.
cave. And it's just about like horseback riding about an hour, maybe hour 15 minutes to get down to, if you're going downhill to get down to the waterfall. Excuse me. And then the cave is not very far off. The cave has water coming out. There's a little pool, and we've had many horse riders take some beautiful pictures there. The waterfall, is sometimes we've had a lot of excuse that office phone. We have a lot of rain, and the waterfall just just gushes. It just and sometimes in the summer it dries up, but it's always going. It's always trickling and
Uh-huh.
stuff. But the waterfall, and then there's some trails up on the. If you take the red trail up above, there's some beautiful views from that red
Yeah.
trail.
Yeah,
So,
and the other thing that you can do is if you want to go off-site and ride, I believe that Walls of Jericho is still open, right?
yes, it's only about a 10-mile from us going towards Alabama, and they have added new trails as well.
Have
Um,
they? Okay.
yeah, you do now, like from Tennessee, though, you have to pay a high traffic type fee, but from Alabama, which is weird because half of the trails are kind of like in Tennessee and half are in Alabama.
Yep.
You come up
Yep.
from Alabama, you don't have to. But once you get into
Oh, okay.
Tennessee, it's kind of strange. But
Yeah.
we used to have a trail boss at every full week long ride that we have in October. He would take a big group. We had a big, huge trailer that saddled horses up and take a big group to the Walls of Jericho. And it's an all day ride. I've never been on it myself. I'm a kind of a, you know, can only ride for a little while, a couple hours at the
Uh-huh.
most, and then I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
well, let me tell you something. I have ridden that trail. Rabbit took me out there. He was your guide out there that day, and he goes by Rabbit. It's super nice guy, and his family went with us, and they guided us all the way down in there. And you're gonna start at the top of the plateau, and you're gonna ride down and down and down, and you just keep going down into the valley. It's very rocky. That whole trail is extremely rocky, like with big rocks, right? But I tell you what, the trip down there is really rough and tough. But when you get down there, I've just never seen anything so pretty in my life with nature. It's multiple cascading waterfalls. You feel like you went to another dimension down there. So it's a really cool place to go. But if you go, you need to be a pretty good rider, and you need to have some good shoes on your horse. Have maybe a little bit more of a secure horse too. Maybe not a rookie. But yeah, you can ride so you can hop in your trailer down there to Walls of Jericho and ride that as well. So there's a ton of good riding in this area of Circle E. And like with these trails, you have 60 miles of trails. They have waterfalls, caves, you have views, all these different things. So you can spend a lot of time on the trails, but then you also have things at camp. You have your events, like the event coming up that's next month. Do you have anything else planned throughout the year, Christine?
We do.
Okay.
We have Memorial Weekend. We'll have a horseback ride with some entertainment. May 30th, 31st, and June 1st, we have 2 single footing events. We have a year. Thunder on the Mountain will be May 30th, 31st, and June 1st, which you can see some of the fastest single footing horses. And they have tons of classes. They have classes for juveniles and women, and, show classes and speed classes. And then also, then we'll have July 4th, we'll have an ATV Independence Ride. And August the 2nd and 3rd, we are working with Pretty Place. It's now called Pretty Place Off-Road Park. And the owner's nephew, Mr. Johnny Evans, owns it. And they're going to be doing an ATV event then, which we will work with them on that. And then Summer Bash ATV ride, August the 9th and 10th. Then the Fall Brawl, which is a now become international type single footing competition. It'll be September the 26th, 27th, and 28th. We have people that come from different countries now. They come from Israel, and some other countries. Belgium. Belgium was one that was here. We had over 800 people here last year, and 350 horses. And what they do is really exciting. Between the dining hall and the barns, is the long strip that goes from the office to the campground. And they'll set up cones, and people will sit their lawn chairs up on the dining hall porch and out by the barns. And they will race the horses from the campground almost to the office. And they have a speed sign showing how fast the horses are going. And it's really a lot of fun to watch. It's exciting. Those horses, they're a four beat gait. 3 up, 1 down. What that means is they have 3 feet up and 1 down when they're gaiting. And it's really, really cool to watch.
Christine, thank you so much for jumping on with us. I know you're busy there as well, and you got to take care of customers, and we appreciate that. We're glad that you have the business. Is there anything else you'd like to add to it?
I would just like to add that we've had a lot of new people this year, and they've really enjoyed their stay. And we hope, that we'll have more. We have a week-long ride in October, horse ride, October the 13th through the 20th, 2 meals a day, $3.20 a person, plus your $5 stall cleaning fee and tax. 2 meals a day, entertainment, your campsite, your stall, guided rides. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have a band. And we would really enjoy to have. I enjoy my job very much. I enjoy meeting people and telling them about the ranch, and then them coming back year after year is like family reunion, just kind of like you and Gillian and your children. It's my home, and I really love it, and I hope that people out there that see this will want to come and see and ride Circle E.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Christine. We appreciate your time today. And guys, remember to check out our website, tnhorsetrails.com. Also, our YouTube channel, Tennessee Horse Trails and Campgrounds. And the same name for our Facebook group page. If you check out Tennessee Horse Trails and Campgrounds on Facebook, we have that on there for a personal connection between my family and yours. So if you have questions about places, if you want to add a place, maybe we haven't seen it yet, you can always jump in on there. You can message us or just post it right there on the page. I think we opened that page not too long ago. We've already got over 6,000 people on it. And so if you have any questions about places and you post them there, they're going to get answered by a lot of people that have already ridden those places. So it's a valuable commodity for you guys as trail riders. So y'all check that stuff out. And next podcast, we're going to try to have Robert Dalton from Laurel Hill Horse Trail and Campground on, and he is a wonderful guy. It's a fun campground. Again, family atmosphere, much like Circle E is, just in a different location. And this is TWRA property that we're going to be talking about on the next podcast. So you guys stay tuned, and we'll talk to you soon.